Hey y'all, what's good? What's happening? How you feeling? How you doing? It seems like on my channel, I'm doing what's becoming a weekly segment of Madara, dealing with Uchiha Madara. Okay, like a video a week almost, or what's amounting to that. And I don't mind when a character's that great. Here's the thing. Here's the issue that I'm dealing with. It's Naruto fans. It's the Naruto fans. Now, I've said many times over, I am not a fan of Naruto. I'm not a fan of the series. I will not repeat what I keep saying. But if you see my videos, you know how the characters are like. Well, I'll say it anyway. Rock Lee, and Uchiha Madara, the only characters I like in Naruto. I do enjoy some of the concepts. Many of the concepts that Kishimoto presents on the world, but the story of Naruto, oh hell, oh. The only thing that's saving this so-called fourth grade Shinobi War is Madara. I'm not a Madara fanboy. I'm speaking from a literary standpoint. Madara, actually, I was actually talking to one of my friends a bit today, and he's a Naruto fan, but he knows the truth. Out of all Shippuden, the second series of Naruto was second half of Naruto, however you want to say it. Even though it's not really a half. But anyways, part 2 Naruto, right? If not for Madara, if not for Uchiha Madara, it'd be absolute trash. Absolute, like the villain of Obito. But I won't go off into that. In this video, I will deal with the subject. Madara is an antagonist, not a villain. He's not a villain, y'all. Villain? How? What? I will present in this video 6 reasons as to why Madara is not a villain. Now, soon I shall drop a long-awaited video. Well, long overdue video. Relatively long overdue. Anyways, an overdue video. The arts villains, and then there will be the arts. How am I gonna do this? The arts villains, the arts. Is it anti-arts heroes, arts anti-heroes, and then arts anti-villains. I will drop those videos soon enough. It's just I've had other videos come up and this and that. Weekly videos I do or try to do anyway. Yeah. Now, while Madara does resemble a villain in certain aspects, there are clear indications as to why he's not a villain. And here's the thing. It's sad when you have plenty of reviewers. Now, some of the reviewers out here, to my peers, I'm not trying to be antagonistic. I'm not trying to seem arrogant or anything. But y'all know the truth. Some of these reviewers out here shouldn't be reviewing. They try and get likes and views and subs. They ain't about the analysis. They just do these quick videos and put that junk out there. Now, while my videos might not have the most high definition cameras and all that stuff, not bragging or anything, y'all know I come through the content. I be dropping videos that be half an hour plus long. I be constantly dropping videos that be around 20 minutes. My average time is probably 15 to 20 minutes of video. Y'all know I don't skim on the quality. And quantity's not too bad either, but we still working on that. Anyways, with all that being said, y'all know I come into it with logic, reason, facts, and evidence. And if you don't agree with my conclusion, that's fine. But you know I don't come in with bias. You know that I don't just come and talk about my ass. Y'all know, if you watch my videos, if you know me, if you ever discuss with me, I know what I'm talking about from a literary standpoint. Understand this. And when dudes out here, and I won't call them, even subscribers that I'm subscribed, reviewers that I'm subscribed to, they calling him a villain. And I'm like, yo, just because he's a final bad antagonist, just because he's an opposing final antagonist does not make him a villain. He's not no Mariam of Hunter x Hunter, okay? He's not a lot of, DBZ was full of them. Whether it be Majin Buu, mainly Kid Buu. Cell, Perfect Cell, Frieza, Mercenary Tao, then King Piccolo. Piccolo at one point, Piccolo when he was Piccolo Jr. I could go One Piece. One Piece actually didn't have anything. Don Quixote Doflamingo just became a villain in this arc. You have Marshall D. Teach. He's a villain. It's still but he's a villain nonetheless. Akainu was really technically an antagonist, but he might become a villain later on. You understand what I'm saying? You had some ones early on, Don Krieg, Arlong, Captain Axan Morgan, Black Cat Pirates. Who is it? Captain Kuro. You had some ones early on. And then there's different series. I'm just naming some. Toriko. Tommy Rod was a villain. Tommy Rod. Green Patch is a villain. Those are the only villains I can think of in Toriko at this moment. Shio for one point was a villain, but she's reformed. But anyways, I'm belingering the point. I'm just naming some villains of series that are popular. Magi Labyrinth of Magic. You have Ring, Gyokuen, and Alphaman. Other than that, not really any villains currently. Okay. Oh, and of course the father, whatever. But when you look at Madara, number one, his ideology. His ideology actually, I'll get to ideology, that'll be second. Number one is his goal. Okay. What is his goal? Though people talk about the whole new side, but I'm not talking about that. No, that's his means to an end. His goal is to bring peace to the Shinobi world, especially, or peace to the world in general, but peace especially to the Shinobi world. It's to take out chakra. Okay? These are his goals. Because chakra has heightened war. He was a product of war. He grew up as a child soldier. Hello? He knows, to reverse, although what was meant for good by the Sage of Six Paths turned into a terrible weapon. Any review worth his salt, any Naruto review worth his salt has said this. Okay? Madara's trying to reverse that. Now, you may not agree with his means. At most, you know what that puts him as an anti-villain, like Kiryu Satsuki from Kill la Kill. Or most likely he's an anti-hero. Surprising as it is, an anti-hero actually clashing with a hero? Yes. For example, Superman clashing with Batman. Batman is an anti-hero, not a hero. Superman's a hero. Shoot. Goku versus Vegeta. When Vegeta was Majin Vegeta. Vegeta was an anti-hero by that point. Okay? I can go through the list. If Captain America clashed with Spider-Man or Iron Man or the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, I can go through the list. So pretty much you having the hero, Naruto, clashing with an anti-hero in Madara. Their goals are practically the same. Their goals are almost identical. It's just their means that people have a problem with. Or people have a problem with Madara's means. Some do. Number two, ideology. Now here's the thing, man. An antagonist is simply an opposing. If you look at it from the base of a literary definition, an antagonist is an imposing force, whether it be nature, person, creature, an animal, whatever. It's an opposing force. And often, especially when you're dealing with a sentient being, with a living being, that opposing force comes with an ideology, an opposing ideology. That's how wars are originally started. You have two opposing ideologies clashing. That's what you have in Naruto and Madara. You could say there's other ideologies, but those are the two predominant ones at this point in the story of Naruto. Okay. Kishimoto, y'all know I'm critical of him. Y'all know I constantly talking him down on his bad writing. I will give him that. He's finally got around to getting his points across. That Obito nonsense, that's out the way for the most part. He got that foolishness out the way and dealing with the real justice of the situation. And you have these two ideologies. And actually, technically, and I will put down in the description box below how a video I posted, I think sometime last year or earlier this year, I forget which one, how this war should end. how the so-called fourth grade shinobi will should end. Okay. And look, I believe Madara is right. I do. Now, I don't believe in order his means, I don't, this dream world kind of thing, I have a problem with that. I understand it, but I have a problem with it. There's another way to end it, but it's not with the defeat of Madara, because you can't defeat him. First of all, you can't defeat his ideology. Try to defeat Madara and see what happens. You still could have the seeds of his ideology. Someone will carry that on. They will carry down the torch, because the ideals will continue. You have this ideology of never die. You have this ideology that's overly idealistic. And I will be doing a video later tonight because it's a response to a couple questions I was asked by a subscriber that's dealing with Naruto, my thoughts of Naruto as a character. And I will do kind of a comparative analysis of him and other things about his idealism. But anyways, so you simply have two opposing ideologies. That's it. That doesn't make you a villain because you have an opposing ideology. As an anarchist myself, how does that make me a villain because I don't, agree with government? When I look at the crimes, the horrors that governments have done throughout history, including currently, when you look at all these issues, I won't get off on them, but you understand how does that make me a villain because I have an opposing ideology? Even if I, took the action, went to act of protest, went to, even if they kind of got violent, does that still make me a villain? Does it make me a terrorist because I was forced to act? Just saying, think about it. Now, the third thing about it is, what did I say? His goals, his ideology. The third thing about it is Madara, he's a mastermind. But what has he actually done to deserve the title of villain? What has he done? Obito carried out all of that foolishness. Madara actually wouldn't even be alive. Well, Kabuto too. But anyways, Madara masterminded stuff from beyond the grave. What has Madara himself done? What? He's fought in a war? He's killed shinobi in a war? A war that he himself did not even create, so to say. When you look at it like that, what has Madara done? You can say, oh, but in his past he brought the Kibi to fight Hashirama. And? I don't understand. He wasn't, I don't believe, as far as I know anyway, he wasn't trying to destroy the village like Obito was. Like Pain was. Nagato. What has Madara done? I'm not giving him a pass for that. I'm just asking, what has he done that's so villainous? To even be deserving of the final villain, final boss, yeah, but final villain? Come on, y'all. Final villain has to actually be, done some serious crap in order to even deserve that title. So we have his goal, his ideology, questionable status as a bit, villainous deeds, questionable. Number 4, we have his symbolism. Okay, when you look at Madara's symbolism, it's very interesting. He's an enigma in and of himself. Madara actually represents. He's actually a better representation. Well, first of all, he's an actual shinobi. He's a legendary shinobi. Naruto is not a shinobi. Naruto, in fact, now we'll deal with this. This is one point I will actually deal with in that video I told y'all I'm gonna make. I'm gonna drop later tonight. Naruto is not actually a shinobi. Sorry to break it to people. He's not an actual shinobi. He's not a ninja. Madara is a shinobi. He's a warrior. That's what he's done. That's what he's born and raised in. Madara currently has both Senju and Uchiha DNA. Uniting of the original clans within him. Madara helped found Konoha. He should have been the leader after Hashirama, Senju Hashirama. Tobirama should not have been the leader. Tobirama, and I did this in other videos, I talked about why Tobirama, And you look at everything Madara predicted, he prophesied to us. Tobirama, he prophesied us. I mean, the Uchihas been massacred. When you look at Tobirama, he segregated the system. You look at all this, you got certain clans favored. You have the Hyuga clan situation. Okay, even the branch family, between the branch family and the main family foolishness. I mean, you look at Monato's ended up dead. Okay, you look at this, wars. And when you look at it, Madara represents, he's a product of his environment, he's a product of his era. He represents unity, he represents the paradox that the shinobi world has created. So when you look at all the symbolism, and you can go deep into the symbolism of Madara, when you look at him, again, his symbolism represents the series better than Naruto. So how is he a villain? Now, while a villain can be the protagonist and whatnot, whatever, Madara, it makes no sense to call him a villain when he represents the series better than the hero. This series isn't built for the villain, to be villainous. And if it was, generally there's even worse villain. For example, the movie Scarface, beautiful example. Scarface is an anti-villain. Sosa was a villain. Frank was a villain. Frank was a villain? Yeah. Okay. The dirty cop? No, he's just a fool. I wouldn't call him a villain. But anyways, especially Sosa. Sosa was a villain. Scarface was an anti-villain. This is what it is. Understand what characters are. Understand the qualifications of a character. Now, we have dealt with the goal, we've dealt with the ideology, we've dealt with his questionable villainous deeds. We dealt with, what did I deal with? Symbolism of Madara. Now, where do we want to go from here? We want to go to Madara's characterization. Madara, actually, of anybody in the entirety of the Naruto world, deserves to be the Sage of Six Paths. Think about that. And I think I'll deal with this in my Naruto analysis video as well. Naruto, first of all, cannot be Sage of Six Paths at this point in the story. 5 reasons. 5 quick ones off the top of my head. Too young, too immature, too idealistic, doesn't have the wisdom. A sage, I don't care what anyone says, sage needs wisdom, and his goal is too problematic. First of all, his goal is to be Hokage. His goal is not to be no Sage of Six Paths. People trying to rechain and stuff, they want Naruto to have everything. His goal is to be Hokage. When was his goal to be Sage of Six Paths? How is he going to achieve that? How is he powerful enough for that? Madara is the first person that we know besides the Sage of Six Paths himself, the original one, that developed the Rinnegan. Nagato didn't develop a Rinnegan. Pain didn't develop one. Neither did Obito. They used Madara's. Madara's got the power. He's been there, done that. He's actually died and come back on some resurrection status. Who can touch this guy? Even before the Sage of Six Paths power, who could touch him? He had the power to back up what he said. And Uber Hikaru's often recently talked about having the power to back up justice, to back up these different things, which is right on. He's right on. You have to have the power to back it up. Not trying to be an enforcer, but you gotta have the power, regardless. Those without power, how are you getting justice? Look throughout fiction if you need an example. People will have to be powerful. Okay? When you look at his character, the character of Madara, without going deep into his characterization, just really look at his character. What about his character says villain? I can wait all day and all night until somebody can describe to me anything about his characterization that tells you he's a villain. Okay, he may be a bit arrogant. Naruto's arrogant. He's cocky. People say, oh, but Naruto's changed because of a bit of talk. I need to see the proof. Naruto, Madara, he actually kills. Well, it's a war. He's a warrior. He's a shinobi. Naruto, I want to save everybody, even the people who shouldn't be saved. Obito. But you can say, oh, Obito, because Kishimoto's trying to redeem him, rewriting rules of logic, Naruto has no logic. Anyway, yeah, Naruto himself has no logic. When you look at it, Madara and Naruto were born, you could say, exceptional because of chakra and stuff, even though Madara's a fighting genius, Naruto's nothing like that. Madara is highly intelligent, Naruto, his intelligence is questionable at times, he's so inconsistent. And you could go on and on. What in Madara's character screams villain? Because I've seen a lot of villains in my time, and I've yet to, if he's a villain, wow. So, we've had Madara's goals, his ideology, his, before the villain sex, his ideology, something or another, characterization, and lastly, but certainly not least, his position as a justified villain. That's what Uber Hikari said one time. Justified villain. Last time I checked, how the hell is a villain justifiable? That's all I'm going to ask with that. How is a villain justifiable? Oh, goes back to his villain disease. And that just rounds up everything. How is his motives justifiable? How is it that people like myself are like, yo, he's more right, he's more correct than Naruto is. He understands this better than Naruto does. I would side with him. You can say, you can disagree with his means. Fine, cool. Talk it out. Have a discussion. Even though diplomacy, I'm saying at a certain point you can have diplomacy. Currently you're in a war, you can't have diplomacy. But, Naruto, people falling for his thing and blah, blah, blah. But what has Naruto, you could say, oh, but the alliance has come together during a time of war because they have a massive threat. What happens 5 years down the line? What happens when for example, Tsuchikage dies, the current Earth Jutsu dude. I don't know. What village he's from? Damn it. Anyways, y'all know what I'm talking about. What happened when this generation dies off? Generation of Kages. Gars from this latest generation with Naruto. But anyways, what happens when the older generation of Kages dies off and the new Kages gotta come in? Or are you going to abolish the Kage system? If you abolish the Kage system, then now Naruto's goal is void. I'm just saying. And actually, Naruto at this point can't be Hokage for 3 different reasons. He's not old enough, not mature enough, and you still have Tsunade as Hokage. Like, there's so many problems. So I just don't get it, man. Please, somebody, I would love for you to, just unexpected one, like, comment, subscribe, tell me your thoughts. Please explain to me how Madara is a villain. I would love to know. Because it's not, maybe I'm missing something, missing a couple key elements, because I'm not seeing it. I'm just not seeing it. I'm not sold. I'm not bought. You got to show me something. But, yeah, till next time, y'all. Peace.